Scotty and Boaz Rehash, Episode 7.
And we're back with the Clash of Clans for the fans in the stands. This is Boaz, and I'm here with the infamous Scotty 8 to the 2 to the 7. What's up, Scotty?
Hey, that's a cool one. I like that. 8 to the 2 to the 7. I'm just going to walk around saying that, I think. Now,
you legally change your name. Go down to the courthouse tomorrow.
I got my Scotty 827 t-shirt that I got for my birthday.
Pretty much the coolest t-shirt I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I can't wear it out. I mean, I do wear it out, but it's like if you're going someplace where okay, let me put it this way. I put it on and it says Scotty 827, but it looks like Supercell logo.
Yeah.
So it's like SCOTTY 827 and it's square. But anytime I wear it out in public, people are like trying to figure it out. They're looking at it. So it's like it throws me off if there's any eye contact needed or anything like that, because I'm like, God, these people are like looking me up and down, and I'm like, oh no, they're just looking at the t-shirt. So you can't go cruise at the bar with that on because nobody's gonna look at your face. Is what I'm saying.
Well, you can pick up some gamer girls or something. Anyone that plays Clash of Clans, they'll think it says Supercell, and then they'll see it and they'll be like, oh, what's Scotty 827? And you'd be like, oh yeah. So
I've always kind of waited for the time somebody recognizes me in somewhere. But I mean, the chances of that happening.
Well, yeah. You mean recognize your voice? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. Didn't you say they did at the bar in Duluth or something that they heard you and Boneyard talking? They're like, hey.
No, I had went there and it was the guy had put it together. I think because the other guy's friend was in my clan.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So he didn't actually. So, but anyway, so we're back talking all things Clash Clans, and it's been a busy week. We recorded last week at the same time. So, what has been going on, Boaz?
Well, over in the True Sons. Well, first of all, in the Phantom Zone, not much is going on, as always, which is how I like it for my second account. Everything's very chill. I've
got to move there with Exace. I did get an email about being kicked out of Kent Farmhouse. and I said,
founder kicked out.
I'm just like, yeah.
The mighty have fallen.
Kick me out. Because I just haven't been back onto that other account.
Yeah, and I always feel bad, too, if I'm in an active clan with my second account and I don't use it much or anything.
Well, no, we kind of set up finally just today, or Nat did. She's leader of Kent Farmhouse, Kryptonian family chat.
Oh, line chat.
The leaders only. So, and Exace was kind of the conduit, to that. So, so that's new, but...
Well, yeah, so Phantom Zone, nothing, which is great. I can go and harvest my resources, make a little small talk. The True Sons just finished up probably the biggest war that we've had. We took a beating, which we're not accustomed to doing. I don't know if we've ever lost by more than like 4 stars or something.
Oh my God, really?
We lost 103 to 86.
Okay, so let's set the stage here. So you got matched up. What did the matchup look like?
So here's the thing: so we were on this. We had that 23 win streak. Then we had that loss. We took like a 2-point loss or something, and then we've been on like a 9 or 10 win streak after that. Kind of back to business as usual, and all of those had been like we'd been like maybe 39 to 43 players, kind of fluctuating. So all our wars were either 35 or 40 people, all the same people, all the regulars, the people that we know we can count on, we know how everyone's going to do, where they're going to attack, stuff like that. We have certain guys that attack the very top, then the other guys, 2-star throughout the whole middle and then start getting 3 stars on the bottom and stuff. And so we have a good, routine and everything. But we started pushing. We're doing a trophy push. I mean, ostensibly the 20th to the 26th, but we're all a lot of us are starting early.
Okay.
And whenever
and remind me to ask you something about that when later on, because I want to
the trophy push.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put a little note. So whenever we trophy push, we just start picking up people. And so we did our first 50-person war probably since war started. Like when war first started, I think we did a couple 50-person wars because we've always been a pretty popular clan and, had people requesting and stuff and, recruited easily. And so we were at 50 people when warring started. Pretty quickly we realized we needed to kick out a whole bunch of people and start recruiting people who were good at war attacks. Because you never really know. I mean, the only thing you know about people is before was the replays that they would share with you, their gold grab, their friend in need, basically that was it. That was the extent of what you'd know about them, their max trophies, stuff like that. But so you don't know if they're trophies, if they're getting them, by, you don't know how skilled they are,
Right.
if they're, how good they are in their farming, maybe the raids they're sharing with you are only their very best ones and they usually are terrible, or maybe they only know how to barge.
If you had to share every replay, could you imagine that as a requirement? Or every other, you have to share 5 replays a day, because then you could I wouldn't pass the test. I'm just saying.
Well, the thing is, and even for me, when war started, I was used to just farming. I would just be using barbs and archers, or maybe, giants and archers or something all the time, and never used, hogs or golems or even wizards really. And so I had to learn, my hogs were level 2, and I had to, constantly keep them upgrading as soon as war started till I maxed them out. And then I got awesome with hogs. I would get 2-3 stars, across for me every war, and it was, smooth sailing. And then the nerf came, and I was like, oh shit, now what do I do? So I had to grind away and upgrade my golems straight through till they got to max for Town Hall 9, and get my witches up and all the requisite troops for the go wee go wipe armies. So then I got real good at that, and now I was talking about the last podcast how I just got the hang of reliably 3-starring lower Town Hall 9 bases. So war was going really well, but so we kind of started pushing, and this is what happened at our last push is we picked up a whole bunch of people with good trophies. Yeah. And then after the push ended, we realized that a bunch of them sucked at war. So kind of a similar thing happened this time, although most of the people we recruited were pretty good war attackers, but we got up to 50 people just all of a sudden. We got kind of a little group of guys who turned out to be really good.
Okay.
Or at least a few of them turned out to be really good. And then just random people joining. And when the trophies start to climb up there and we have some champs and, a ton of master ones and everything in the clan, then, the requests start really piling up. And so
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, definitely people I feel like the war wins is still, well, the war wins should be the number one factor for people,
but maybe not. Because if you think about it, L started in July. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a clan that was, and it seems like the records are going to start being more and more not accurate.
Yeah, that's true. The clan that we faced, Eliminate, pretty well-known clan, they had only 41 wins, which was really surprising to me. And so I'm not sure if they aren't a back-to-back war clan, or they started warring late, or they're a recently created clan, or how that worked. But yeah, that was another case of a very misleading war record. But yeah, people just like shiny things, so they see those badges and they start wanting to join. And so before we knew it, we jumped from 42 to 50, and we're like, all right, we don't do 50-person wars. We were very wary about it in the past because things just got kind of out of hand when we would do 50-person wars because it was just hard to manage. Like when you're doing lower amounts, then the good players can use their 2 attacks and, really make up for the players who aren't carrying their weight. But when there's 50, then it's just, there's a lot to go around.
You got to manage more and it's just the coordination and if people aren't getting their, the lower people,
need to get in early.
Yeah. The possibility of where the 10s and the 9s need to go, like you kind of have to wait longer because if there's way lower people, then, or there's more people, you have the coordination of the timing. It just gets difficult because, it's, you do have to wait longer, I think. Or you want people to go early, but
lower people
happen.
to go early. So it's just kind of hard for us to wrap our arms around a whole 50-person war, but it wouldn't really have been an issue except this clan was really, really good. So it was pretty unfair matchup. We had 20 Town Hall 10s, 30 Town Hall 9s. They had 30 Town Hall 10s, 20 Town Hall 9s. So from the beginning, it was, going to be real tricky. But I mean, we've beaten clans when we've had like less than 15 Town Hall 10s and they have like, more than 30 Town Hall 10s. We've, blown them out. So the thing here was that they had so many, higher bases than us. And they also, all their bases were good. Like usually you'll go in and there'll be people where it's not a very good base or it's kind of a base that you're used to seeing, or, their people have lower walls or things like that. But these guys, there were no rushed bases. Everyone had really strong walls. Walls, yeah, which is, and when you're in a, hog or air army, it doesn't matter. But when you're in go wee wee or go wipe, it's huge. You get hung up on those walls and the attack's over, if they have level 10 walls, especially.
Let's come back to that after or when you're ready, because when our current war, I have some commentary on walls.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. But yeah, these guys had really good walls, and so normally it wouldn't be an issue for us to overcome, 30 Town Hall 10s to 20 Town Hall 10s. It's not a big deal. But so the combination of more Town Hall 10s than us, and then just all of them being solid attackers, because we're just not used to that. Like, I wish we had more wars like this where everyone was good, like everyone was a legitimate, solid player.
Yeah.
And, or I mean, pretty much everyone. I guess I don't, know the breakdown of everyone in their clan, but it appeared, everyone pretty much knew what they were doing. And so it was a completely, it was a completely different animal. I wish they were all like that, and we'd have more experience with, with these kind of challenging wars and stuff. Although no matter how much experience we had, they just had, they were just good. More, a lot more firepower. Those Town Hall.
I hope you broke up a bit there.
Our 9s are pretty rough.
You broke up a bit there. What did you say?
Oh, I said their Town Hall 10 troops are just pretty rough against our Town Hall 9s and stuff. It's tough to hold up. So it was a change because we always 2-star. I mean, it's been 30 wars since we left anything 1-starred, and we 1-starred. We left definitely a bunch of bases 1-starred. There was even one base with no stars on it, which was extremely embarrassing. So yeah, it was weird. It was a big change, but it was super fun. Like, big props to eliminate. But they also, I had heard of a bunch of them because I've been, on Twitter, me and El Bizzle from the True Sons, at El Bizzle 2. My buddy, he's on Twitter also. So we're the two guys from the True Sons that are on Twitter, and he stays pretty up on, the Clash community and stuff. And so I see and I don't follow very many people, but I'll see, retweets of these people, and I know he follows a bunch of them. They have like 20 guys or more, I don't even know, who are pretty prominent on Twitter. They have like maybe 10 people who have like over 1,000 followers. And then it seemed like almost everyone in their clan had a Twitter account, because they would just people would start randomly tweeting at me and stuff. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. And when as soon as the matchup got announced, El Bizzle, or Biz, I guess I call him, he tweeted at their, a handful of people from their clan, however many he could fit in one tweet. And he was like, hey, to like six or seven people in their clan. And so they're like, oh shit. And, start calling their shot and stuff. And there's this guy, Lex, who's, I think it's at Dutchy Famous, who I had kind of gone back and forth with him maybe a month or two ago. We were talking about war and matchups. And I think we were kind of talking about how we were sick of getting easy matchups and stuff. And we were like, man, wouldn't that be so great if we could face each other? And I said, oh, how many, I said, maybe we should try to, do a synchronized,
button push.
War start. Yeah, button push. Exactly. And he's like, oh, how many people do you do? And I was like, well, we do pretty much always 40-person wars. And he said, well, we do pretty much always 50-person wars, or, 45 to 50. And I was like, oh, dang, well, we're probably not going to get matched up. So lo and behold, our first 50-person war, this guy is in that clan. And I was like, oh, my God. We totally called this, and then we're the same number as each other. So we were both number 28. And, of course, he's a Town Hall 10. They were Town Hall 10 all the way down to 30, and we were Town Hall 9 all the way up to 20. So it was his base way better than mine, being the same number. But he's like, oh, man, I'm calling my shot against you and stuff. And he came in, he 2-starred me, got like 55 or 57. Yeah.
I did.
I got 3-starred this war.
You did, huh? And
I have not been 3-starred for, I don't know, I've probably only been 3-starred maybe a couple times since the Hog nerf. And they were always people way higher than me coming down just, crushing me with really high level heroes and stuff, and, going for a 3rd star, going low. But this guy was lower than me, Rancid. Well, it was a girl, apparently. Huge shout out to Rancid. She 3-starred me with hogs, 3-starred another guy right in my range.
Thinking of 3 stars as dirty now.
Oh, for some reason. Like Boneyard says, I'm going to 3-star the shit out of her.
Yeah. So I'm going, oh, wow.
Yeah, she 3-starred me. Don't tell my wife. Don't tell my wife.
If it was code, it would be like the most sexually explicit podcast on the internet.
She hung a few stars on me.
I got 2-starred last night. Or I 2-starred somebody last night. That was like, minimal effort.
Couldn't quite get it all the way.
Yeah. I tried, but it was 0 stars.
0 stars, a non-starter. Which I had a little too much to drink. I got 0 stars. It's pretty embarrassing. 0
stars. I went at it, but 0 stars.
Gave it a shot.
Yeah.
But so this was really interesting because then Hulk, who I've talked about a lot on the podcast from Reddit Troopers, Hulk tweets at me, and he sent this kind of cryptic tweet, like, someone showed up at Reddit Trooper's door covered with the rancid blood of the True Sons or something like that. And I was thinking he meant Get Up Kids, because I told Get Up Kids that they should try, if they want a challenge, try applying to Reddit Troopers, because I think they're like a Town Hall 7, but super, super strong attacker Town Hall 7, and I know troopers like Town Hall 7s who can fight above their weight class and stuff, and so I thought he was talking about that guy, and then I realized, like, when he threw in the word rancid, that he was talking about this person. I was like, oh my God, that dude was a beast. But the attacks were so good that immediately everyone called ghosting sandboxing. They're like, huge cheater there, just totally unnatural, perfectly spraying bombs. But she had, I think in both cases, she had someone else that had done a solid attack first, so she knew where everything was. But just the angles, the number of hogs, everything was just like a work of art watching these attacks. And so we all called like, man, that's pretty fishy. But Biz came in and he was like, no, that she's like a renowned war attacker. Like she's, famously skilled war attacker.
Really?
And so he was saying that it was legit. And we're like, oh, okay. And then I was wondering why she went for 3 stars on me when there's other people who were like 1 or 0 starred, and I already had 2 stars. So I was like, is she a podcast fan that wanted to get me, or had she been sandboxing my base from the beginning? And so it turned out what happened was that she had applied. Well, actually, most people apply to Reddit Troopers. She was recruited to Reddit Troopers.
Wow.
Which is, saying something right there. They have like a waiting list where people apply on their website, and they,
Nobody's recruiting me.
Yeah, I'm not getting recruited by Reddit Troopers either. But yeah, so that's a big, for Reddit Troopers to reach out to you and say, hey, can you please join us? So she was only, I guess, in Eliminate, or I don't know if maybe she had been in there before, but she was just waiting in Eliminate until a spot opened in Troopers. And so
to your misfortune.
I find out that Hulk put a bounty on me.
He did,
so,
huh?
Yeah, so she told him, oh yeah, we're fighting, we've got a war against the True Sons. He's like, oh really? He's like, you should 3-star Boaz for me. And I guess Biz was in his Twitch stream when it was going on.
Oh my God.
And so he said that Hulk was giving her tips and stuff on the hogging and stuff, and so that's why she went after me when I was already 2-star, because it seemed like a weird decision for an attack when it seemed like she could have contributed more somewhere else. So
she just wanted to. I don't know. All I can picture in my head is like, like some female action hero. You know what I mean? Like, I guess like I've been watching that Edge of Tomorrow, which they renamed Live, Die, Repeat, which is the weirdest thing in the world to rename the movie. But Emily Blunt's she's got these big battle things on, goes go. That's all I can think of.
I picture Hulk as like this king sitting on the throne, and she's like kneeling before him, and he's like,
she walks in bloody. She's like, she walks
you
in
must
bloody,
get Boaz, and she came with my
I bring
head.
You Boaz's head.
Yeah, so she definitely got my head. It was a beautiful attack. It was pretty badass. And I mean, my base isn't very anti-hog. I mean, it has a couple double giant bombs, but it doesn't have like a true ring or anything, just because I'm not worried about. I like getting attacked by hogs because usually they fail. They get 1 or 0 stars, so I want people to hog me. But she
and hog can be hug.
No, hog me. But they can hug
you.
Me too. Yeah,
okay.
They can hug me or hog me.
So what did she attack with?
She did. It was like 25 hogs. She had like a couple balloons to take out archer towers on the edges. She had like 7 wizards, some witches, the heroes. Like she lured my clan castle at the same time setting off both my double giant bombs. Then the clan castle went over to the corner, and then she took it out with her kill squad, and then sent the hogs and just perfectly placed the heal spells and everything, and just nailed it. And so if I didn't know that she was this great attacker, then I would have just totally, it looked like a Reddit Dusk attack. And there is a way to put it.
There
it looked
are
like
people like that. We're facing this clan right now. I got hit, and I had an idea here, but I just want to say what the troop combo was: 2 golems, 12 hogs, 24 wizards, 8 wall breakers, 6 archers, and 2 barbs. and I got 2-starred, and I got hugged too. But like the hogs came in, and I have not even had to worry about a hog in forever. Like I don't remember the last time I saw a hog on my base, and it's, you know what, it's almost completely hoggable. I mean, if you place your spells right,
and especially if you got your Inferno towers and stuff, you don't really got to worry about. Well, at least mass hog attacks. Sounds like they had 12. They were probably going in.
Everything is so strong that like to do it, you would have to just, I don't know, just place freeze, you know, in certain spots or do something really creative. But yeah, they sent in the things in different orders, and so I like that idea of seeing these different attacks, you know, and I've been mixing it up with the Velks, and I've been trying to do stuff, but I wish I was more flexible in terms of, okay, here's who I'm going to attack. Okay, how am I going to do it? You know, and then you think through each of the steps, and, you know, you just get really good at doing like unique attacks, unique to the base, you know, instead of like, okay, this could be go wee weed, or this could, you know, but unique to the base itself, where it's like, okay, you know, this is a strong one, because these guys we're facing right now, we're going to lose. We're kind of in practice mode. We've been on a good streak. I can't pronounce their name, so I can't really shout them out, but it's like Hai Pong Fong So Vu. That's basically what I would.
Is that Chinese characters that you're translating, or is that actually?
No. It's like it's like regular
Scotty.
Writing, but then there's like an accent, and then the O's on the last ones they look like male female put together symbols. So I don't know.
Nice.
And it could be a 5 instead of an S, but you never know.
Yeah.
Solid attacks. Like, I mean, we're looking at the 1 through 6 have been 2-starred on our side. Like, we got just smashed. I mean, they're good. They're good. Solid attackers. And I attacked today, and I kind of thought I'd change it up with some spells. And I got 35%. Everything just... I almost hogged this person because at Lulu Gap. I almost hogged him because he had a very, very top-heavy Air D, not a lot of defenses up until the Infernos, but the walls were so strong. You know, they were like I think they're the Lego. I think that's what you would call them.
Level 9. Yeah.
And these guys consistently, from the top down, just all have strong walls, which completely changes your attack ability.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, you know how I've never really been a big fan of walls. You know, saying like upgrading them until they're a liability, or, you know, this or that. But when your clan, and I was thinking about this today, because you said with the True Sons, you know, it was kind of like a prerequisite, or it was, you know, something you guys all did, getting to level 8. They were consistently down the board, all strong walls. And when that happens, you know, usually we'll run into 1 or 2 people that have a strong wall so the other person can take it. But their walls have been really strong, and so it completely kind of threw off my entire plan. You know, I don't know how many wall breakers to take in right now. I don't know.
Well, jumps, do you use jump spells?
Yeah,
because that's so crucial to place them in such a spot that they jump over a series of walls and stuff. Because then a level 1 wall is the same as a level 11 wall, you know. But
and I'm all right with the, you know, but when the walls are really strong, and then you've got, okay, this was a weird setup. I mean, everything was pretty much out in the open. And I thought, I'll get my golems in on the bottom. It was like no walls until the very. It was just it was a weird setup. But all of these things have been big walls. But so because the really super strong walls, all of a sudden you're going to have to take 2 jump spells or 3 jump spells.
Well, I don't know about that, man.
In some of the cases, I'm telling you, in some of these bases, it was like, well, you can't take this kind of army in because you're going to have to blast through a lot of walls to get there.
Your heroes get hung up in one spot, just banging away at the wall. Or the town hall's right there, but the queen turns 180 degrees and just starts shooting at a wall or something.
Right. And so you're looking at it, and you're like, okay, I've got this one. I could hog. I was thinking, I could hog and probably get the Infernos. Make it to the Infernos, get half the base. But I'm like, I don't know if I can get the things to the other half, to get to the actual town hall, so it completely changed up how I was doing it, and it's the first time I thought, well, because it was consistent and because it was well thought out, the walls actually contributed to the strength of the base. Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if they have really strong walls, but they're just arranged in squares without good compartmentalization and stuff, then it doesn't. Yeah,
they use their walls as part of their defense in terms of, okay, you're going to have to send a bunch of wall breakers in this way. And I mean, they put builders' huts. The one guy that I attacked, that I 35%ed, had builders' huts inside the walls. And it must have really thought out, okay, here's the direction the troops are going to come if you do this.
Well, you can lead a P.E.K.K.A., in one direction. If you have a builder's hut, if you want to lead a P.E.K.K.A. or a hero to that spot and then have the building be gone immediately so that they then redirect to a different spot or something, then that builder's hut could be a strategic. Yeah. That's kind of beyond my capabilities of base designing, but I could see that.
I could see the benefit of doing walls.
Well, finally, Scotty, it only took me, a year of trying to convince you.
But it's
glad some random
I'm happy
Asian
with the
clan
level 8. Because I keep doing my defenses, which is awesome. But I'm getting close to the point where I'm going to start working on walls.
All right, good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, and it will help that it's probably going to help me a lot that it will be Elixir.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah, walls are so much easier now than they used to be now with the update.
Because I got my P.E.K.K.A. going to level 4.
Nice. There you go.
The war loot, we had been winning, and so I collected my war loot, and I collected my war loot to I think start my upgrade on my air defense, so that I could get my gold gone, and that way people wouldn't be attacking me because I'm sitting on almost 7 million of gold and elixir. Mm-hmm. And so I did that, and then I had a bunch of elixir in there, and I needed like 1 million. And war was going to start on Sunday, so I had to do it, over the weekend. And I'm thinking, well, I got to do it, but I also have to make sure I have enough to fund the war.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, to make the troops and everything.
Yeah. And so what I did, I just started watching what I was doing a little bit closer. And it sounds so stupid because, it's like, well, yeah, shouldn't you be doing that every time? But it was like, no, because, normally you're busy. But I started to go, you know what? Let your hogs drag out farther, before you throw a heal on.
Oh, yeah. I'm so guilty of that, doing premature heals and then running out before the end. And yeah I get a little too itchy trigger finger on my first couple of heal spells, and that tends to screw me over when I'm hog. It didn't used to matter before the update. I would still 3-star everybody, but now they're so much more precious than they used to be.
And I started going to war again with just like 3 spells. Or, not going to war. Going in for a raid. I go, you know what? I'm sitting here. My troops are done. I'm waiting for spells. I have 2 heal spells. I'm like, I might as well look around and see if there's something I can get while I'm waiting for the next heal spell to do it, you know? And so I just looked through, take my time, and I quickly racked up the 1,000,000 I needed. Surprisingly fast. I mean, you know how long I've been waiting for the level 4?
Well, you started at like your Town Hall 10 with like level 2 Pekkas or whatever.
I know, I couldn't believe it.
You had a long way to go.
But I mean, just getting the elixir up there, it was,
yeah.
you know how I was saying, I was like, probably I gross 1,000,000 a week, and, you know, up to it. But I was like, wow, in a day, I had less than a day, you know, some really good raids. I think I had a 400K raid.
Nice.
Because I was just spending my gold looking, and I'd spend a little bit more time. And so I didn't have to do that. And then right after that, I started it. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. I'm like, oh shit, there's war tomorrow. And I kind of did the same thing and made 1.5 million the next day. And I'm like, what? I've got to be much more patient and vigilant about it. The one real thing that I have to do yet is the P.E.K.K.A. to level 5, but I've got 12 days, so I'm not caring about it. And after that, then it's just the jump and the lightning spell.
Well, the jump is and that's all of your upgrades, all of your troop upgrades, your elixir troop upgrades.
Yep.
Nice. Well, the thing that sucks is that you saved P.E.K.K.A.s for last because you were never using them before, and now that you're realizing you need to use them, you were Actually, that's kind of like me with hogs when war first started, and I was like, I didn't use these when I was farming. Now I need to use them. But yeah, jump spell is one of like the least important upgrades because the only thing it increases is the length of time that it lasts, and it's huge going from 1 to 2, 20 seconds to 40 seconds, but 40 seconds to 60 seconds, I feel like doesn't make that big of a difference.
No,
you know,
the
like
troops
it doesn't.
should be way past there in that where they need it at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, I'll keep it where it's at. And once I get done with my P.E.K.K.A.s, it'll be fun to be back in the zone where I can just throw elixir at walls.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
And you know, then it's the Lava Hound. Okay, so big announcement as we talk about this, because I think it kind of brings us to this. You talk about trophy push, and we've talked about trophy push.
I still got a lot of this war to talk about too, but then I can get to trophy push.
Okay. Do you want to finish, or should I do
I
first?
I can keep going on the war. So besides having, you know, good walls and just unique bases, you know, they're all pretty much different bases from each other, and you know, clearly custom design bases and everything. Their defensive war CCs were really
unique.
Yeah, just so a lot of their top people had lava hounds, and that we were talking about defensive war CC lava hounds in the last podcast, and so a lot of their top guys had lava hounds.
They did, huh?
Yeah, but so many of them just had weird. One guy had. I was just looking at one of the last raids. One guy had all barbs and one witch, or else like just. Now I can't think of all the different things, but they were like just all different. Because usually you see people where they just have some combination of archers, witches, and wizards. You know,
I think a witch and a Velk. I've been seeing those too, like or just the Velk even in just one. It lasts and it does a lot of damage. But keep going.
Yeah, and they had some people with Velks too, but yeah, that was really interesting having some. You know, some people they would have kind of easier to lure clan castles, in which case they would, you know, have less troops but stronger troops. You know, we were talking about that last time where if, you know, you sacrifice strength for quantity, you know, because if you have a whole bunch of tier 1 troops, then it takes longer to pull. So their clan castles that were really hard to lure, they would tend to have a whole bunch of tier 1 troops before you got to the, you know, the DPS troops. And
so for those that don't speak Clash of Clans out there, that means that barbs, archers
well, they didn't have goblins,
drawn first, and then
and they get drawn in order of housing space. So anyone that takes up one housing space goes first. So like normally archers first, then wizards, then witch, or else with Velks, and they go between the wizards and the witch, but yeah, I wish I had
ever seen a golem come out of a.
I think I did when maybe war first started, like, because it was a kind of a different thing, that people wouldn't be used to, kind of like Lava Hound now. But the issue is that it's so slow. I mean, I think that, but we were talking about that last time, where a huge part of the
is what distracts.
Is that it distracts it. But the issue with a golem is that since it's one single troop, then P.E.K.K.A.s and heroes can just latch onto it and just destroy it really quick. If it gets under fire from a P.E.K.K.A. king. I mean, it has a lot of hit points, but it's only one of them. So like if you get 20 archers against a P.E.K.K.A., they'll just take it down, or the defense will take it down, because it needs to swing one. Since it doesn't do splash, it needs a one hit for every troop, and it does one hit every second, or even takes even longer. And so yeah, the golem, I just think, wouldn't be. So it seems like this would be the same thing with the Lava Hound, but
yeah, what happened with those?
I didn't see a lot of the replays, actually. I wish I had got a chance to see more of these replays, but I didn't get a chance to be on much last night when it first started, because I was on, and then like the attacks were just coming, so many attacks, and I couldn't stay on at that moment, which sucked because there was so much action going on. And then I didn't get to do my attacks till this morning, so there wasn't a lot of stuff left. But yeah, I didn't actually see. I'll have to go back and watch some of those replays. Actually do it right now while we're talking. But I think they must be pretty good, because this clan was really good, and a bunch of their top people had the Lava Hounds. And I think because on high people tend to do lures instead of lightning spells. A lot of people, Town Hall 9s can just bring a lightning spell. And just make sure they get the witch with it, and then
T-Skits suggested, and I started doing this this week in the wars, that I bring a lightning in for the CC troops if I'm not going to lure them. And this guy's awesome attacker, he's like, and I started doing it, and in fact, I kind of started thinking, you know what, that would actually do more work for me than a rage spell would do. If I brought that lightning spell in just for the CC troops, as things are getting into the center, because that is sometimes, depending on where you attack from, if you're not luring them, it could be the biggest factor in whether or not you are going to take two, because how they're strung out and whatever.
Well,
It worked, except for this last attack. But
well, my thing with those is that it's really only if they have witches that it's necessary, because spells are so precious. So you don't want to take up a spell slot for anything if you don't have to. If you could use a heal or a rage or whatever, or especially a free, another freeze if you're Town Hall 10.
That's what I mean. Like, all of a sudden I thought, you know what, this lightning spell might do better for me. And that was his advice, is like, if you're not going to lure, do this.
Oh yeah, if you're not going to lure, you definitely need lightning. Yeah, if you're not planning on doing any lure, unless you're doing dragons, then luring isn't as important. But
I mean, as in a go wee wee though, I think like on the internet they don't bring the lightning, do they?
Most good attackers, like all our top attackers, tend to not use lightning. They just tend to
go for
lure, but not like, I don't really see anybody just go for it and just kind of wing it unless they're using all dragons.
Really? We do that a lot. Like, I don't see a lot of, like, I guess in the clan, maybe I'm just missing it, but I don't really see people like using lightning that much, if you're going to do a go-wee or what's the other one? Go wipe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You just you basically go through it and just plow through the clan castle troops and use those spells differently.
Well, the thing about, especially if they have a witch, because I mean, wizards they can screw you over, in certain situations if they're behind a wall and you're not able to get to them, they can screw you over. But the thing about a witch, even one witch can ruin the entire attack. You can have like a solid attack, and then a witch in the middle that just continually summons skeletons. Means you see people going in with like a full max Town Hall 10 army and then getting like 25% because like the P.E.K.K.A.s and heroes are in the middle and they're using each of their hits on a skeleton.
Oh.
And then she summons more skeletons. And then
I've seen a dragon get hung up in a really weird place because of where the skeletons were hitting.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's the thing is a witch, it's so easy to kill. Like I did a lure on my first attack, I didn't do a lure, but I nailed the witch with my lightning. But my second attack, I did a lure. And I just, lured them over and dropped my witches and wizards and stuff, and then just dropped a single minion behind the witch.
But how are you luring them? I mean, because like on a TH10, like attacking a TH10, you need all the troops. So a lot of times
you just sacrifice 10 housing space to bring a couple hogs generally, and then if they have it near the edge, it's even easier. You can use giants. I mean, you just check the...
Yeah, but some of those TH10s, you just can't get to their... I mean, because you're getting hammered so much, like you have to like be able to pull it all.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying to one guy, because a lot of people, they have, like for instance, my base, I have my CC in the center, so you can't lure it without killing at least a defense or two. You can't just send hogs in because there's defenses are all outside of the range.
They start coming out, and by the time that the tier 1 troops have come out, your hogs are dead, and so you have to send in more hogs.
Or even if they do hogs, the hogs get hung up on defenses that are outside of the range of the clan castle.
I had a few of those this week.
And so in order to do that, my town hall needs to be offset. So I sacrifice the fact that my town hall is not in the center. But then I just kind of stack, traps and defenses and stuff around the town hall to kind of offset that. But so yeah, a guy in my clan was like, no, you should never bring a lightning. He's one of the new guys. He's a good attacker. He's like, you should never bring a lightning. You should also lure. And I was saying like, but there's a lot of bases where you can't. I mean, they set it up in such a way that you can't lure. But I don't know. I was watching, and all the top guys seem to be luring pretty successfully in ours. But I think maybe sometimes they are killing one of the defenses and then getting in a little farther, or using wall breakers to lure. Because then
I actually thought in that attack today, I thought I could have got them out doing that.
Mm-hmm. And that works because the wall breakers will go past the defenses. Whereas hogs or balloons or giants all stop at the defenses. So then a lot of them, Go Heat's good at that. He uses wall breakers to lure and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, if you lure it and get everything, because the thing about using a lightning is if you drop it right, it'll take out a witch. And that's the most important thing, is taking out the witch. Or if you drop it in a clump of archers, it'll destroy all the archers. But it won't kill max wizards, so they'll still be alive.
I realize that today.
And that's huge if they're left alive.
Well, I don't know if I upgrade my lightning spell to max, then
no, it still won't kill max wizards.
Huh?
Yeah, it's still, because that would be awesome if it did. But yeah, it still won't kill max wizards. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, I've been generally. I don't know if I brought this up with you before, but. A great thing, instead of we talked about spells and stuff as we were saying this, a second spell factory. If you had 2 spell factories, instead of having to constantly gem it. I mean, I would gem 2 spell factories when I'm pushing and stuff.
I mean, you could do it way, way faster then.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But you could also have the queue then with the spell factory. because if you put one in and one's training, and then that.
Oh yeah,
That's
and then
the
when
only way it could really
yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, because with troops, you can have the troops all set by the time the attack's done, or a ton of your troops already cooked by the time the attack's done. But the spell factory, it's always empty when the attack's done.
Yeah,
except for whatever you didn't use.
You can fill up one CC and you can fill up another CC, and they're just going to keep training till they're done.
And, you mean barracks?
Yeah, the barracks. Sorry, CC. Yeah, during the tank. But if you do the spell factory, you can only do the 5, and it's like, I think you should only be able to take 5 into battle. But if you added another spell factory, that would give people more of an incentive, because then could
cooking twice as fast to be huge, because they just take so freaking long to cook.
Right, but that would kind of ease the pain, where you could not even have to boost as much, because it would be half the time. Like the spells in the
where spell
army
makes like half
to
its money though in
mash
boosted
up
spell
a little
factories. It's like their number one at their board meetings. It's probably their number one money maker, and their little like pie chart that they show their stockholders.
Yeah.
This is boosting spell factories, 30% of our gross profits. So they probably wouldn't want to do that, but you never know.
Okay, we're getting close to an hour, and so I do need to do. I guess it's a big announcement for all of those people in the Kent family.
Okay.
We are going to do a trophy push.
All right.
So we wanted to do it against Zod. That is not going to happen, because it's very complex, like trying to figure out. It's, you know what I mean? Like trying to figure out if you're the right town hall level, So here's what we decided to do. And in the meantime, we're just going to push, and this is kind of what I want to talk about with like the True Sons, and maybe what we could do is just talk about this quick, and then talk about the trophy push in general on our next one, because I'm guessing we'll record another one.
Yeah, I'm done.
We are going to push. We're going to create a brand new clan.
Nice.
The night of November 8th. So from November 9th to November 15th, we're going to do a trophy push. And we're going to recruit the THs, TH10s that want to push from the Kryptonian family. And then it looks like, it's kind of in the early stages of how are we getting the makeup of this clan. We're going to recruit, everybody's going to come in who wants to do it, starting with TH10s and then down to TH9s. And we're going to make up the clan, one time only. We're going to lock down all the families, and we'll do a trophy push to try to get into the top 250 is what the goal was that I just read about. So
nice. Well, so there's an issue with that, which is, and I have no idea if this is going to be an issue, but if you have more than, and I mean, I think it's unfair to make it only for Town Hall 10s, because I bet you have a ton of Town Hall 9s and even Town Hall 8s that will get higher in a trophy push than a Town Hall 10. So if you have more than 50 people, that want to push, a big way that clan families do it is they all push separately for 4 days or something, and then whoever are the top 50 people from among the clan family, so in our case among those 4 clans, the top 50 people, they all converge into one clan, and then for the last 3 days or whatever, those 50 people push together. And that way you can do it completely based on merit, so you're not like,
that's fantastic.
I want to get into the, Kryptonian elite or, whatever you're going to call it. No, but I want to get, there's only 50 spots. Who deserves it more? Well, you have higher defenses. but that doesn't completely.
So,
I mean,
okay,
there's
so you start the
TH3s
push.
in Champion and stuff.
Yeah. Do you measure it by? So in the first 4 days, do you measure it by how many trophies were gained?
No. Purely the amount of trophy. The whole trophies gained thing was just a League of Clans thing. Like, I feel like most trophy pushes, they don't require people to start under a certain amount. Most trophy pushes, the entire goal of the trophy push is the ranking on the final day. So not how high you were on November 13th, not how,
Right.
whatever, only how high you are at, whatever, 8 p.m. on November 15th, or, whatever the predetermined finish time is. You want everyone, can start whenever they want, but their goal is to hit their personal best at the prescribed moment. And so some people will save up resources earlier, and they might start earlier and kind of grind their way up.
That's what I want to talk about on the next episode a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the strategy
but how do they figure out? So the clans push, and is it just the top 5 people of each of the clans?
Well, you could do that, but
Or
I
is
think it should be the top 50 among all the clans, because I mean, you could do a certain amount from each clan, but then you're not going to maximize your chance to get the top 250.
Good point. Okay,
the best
sense.
chance to get the top 250 is if you do it purely on trophy count,
on where you start. So you do so instead of the 9th through the 15th, you actually do it. Would it be the 8th or the 7th? 8th.
Or you could do the 9th through the 12th or something, and then the 13th through the 15th.
So you push within your clan, and then you take the top 50 of the Kryptonian family and go for the last 3 days to see how far or how high it can go.
And in some cases, people,
that's a cool idea.
They get the top 50 and then they lock it down, and those 50 people push together. But if there's people outside who are still wanting to push and want to get in, because an issue that a lot of people have when trophy pushing is running out of resources and then dropping before the end date. And that always frustrates me when I'm in a trophy push and people run out of gas, and they're like, well, dude, keep going, you asshole. You're letting everybody down, so we can get into the strategy in the next
I want to talk all about
here.
this. So you kind of know what the topic of the beginning of the next episode is going to be, at least, because keep in mind the trophy push is coming up. We'll finalize the details in terms of the dates, and I really like your idea, Boaz, or what you've seen or whatever. Because that makes a lot more sense than people signing up.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's only 50, maybe there'll only be 50 people that want to do it.
Maybe the top 50, and out of those top 50, the people that opt out. Because I mean, you might be like, I might be in a clan where I'm like, if I didn't want to do it, I'm sitting at 2,400 trophies. I didn't want to do a push, but somebody below me has been like kicking their own butt up, really high. But I said, no, it's not me. You take the top 50 who want to do it. So you could do in your own clan, just do a push by yourself in the first 4 days. If you're in one of the Kryptonian family and you don't want to push, then just don't push, and you take the top 50 people that want to push.
Or, I mean, if someone isn't really trying to push, but they have more trophies than someone who is trying to push, just by virtue of being a higher town hall, then if you're wanting to maximize your final ranking, you'll just take whoever has the most trophies, whether they're someone that's trying harder, or if you want to reward someone who's trying harder than you.
Like you said, people go to champion on TH.
Really.
Yeah, cool.
Which is, I've talked about how ridiculous that is before.
And we'll, and we kind of finalized the date today. Me and Nat and Ghost and Bryce has been talking to. So
yeah, he's kind of our de facto leader of the Phantom Zone, because BrainLink is currently as the leader title, but it's just because he was the one that founded it. Bryce has kind of been, he's kind of taken the reins, and which is awesome.
So he said he wasn't going to do it because he wasn't going to be a TH10 yet, but I think that kind of puts it in a different light. It's like, hey, you don't have to be a TH10. Mm-hmm. You just need to we could do a pre-push. Maybe we'll do the 9th through the 11th or the 12th.
And all those details you guys can vote on.
And then the 12th through the 15th, then we can figure out the rest of it. So, well, cool. Let's get to that stuff because I want to talk about it. Need a little break quick here. And so get a hold of us at Clash of Clans Podcast. No, okay. Clash of Clans Podcast at gmail.com.
Clash of Clans Podcast on iTunes.
Yeah, Clash of Clans Podcast on iTunes or Stitcher.
At WBSMT Radio.
On Twitter at True Son Boaz on Twitter as well. Mm-hmm. And keep 42427 Clash. Although we haven't had any new voicemails come in for a little while, and that's all right. Maybe we should just not, because it's hard to get them on there. Anyway, there's a lot of ways. Just go to the website, clashclanspodcast.com. You can find all the contact information there.
There you go. Perfect.
So keep it clashy, everybody.
All right, keep it clashy.
Skilly beep 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 skilly beep.